Hello guys, and welcome to this grand G340N review video.
We're going to give you a quick walk around and then we're going to show you all her features and talk about why we actually got the boat in the first place
I want to drive a faster car.
and what difference it's going to make for us and our liveaboard life. Okay, how long is she?
So she is 3.3 meters long, and we've gone for the white Hypalon version. So this is probably the best material out there for Greek weather. We're in Greece and it's super hot here. So if you're in the tropics or in the Mediterranean, we'd fully recommend Hypalon. And the white obviously is going to be cooler than any other color. And we think it looks pretty cool as well. We've gone with the black decals and black upholstery, sort of like a dark charcoal grey actually, but it's such a nice material. It's really easy to keep clean, it's waterproof, and it has great longevity. Grand do all sorts of options for colours, so you can literally, pick black if you wanted black gel coat or black Hypalon. You can mix and match it and really custom build the boat the way you want it. Let's go through some of the features then, shall we? So
Yeah.
We've got ski pole, or for us it's going to be a wakeboard pole.
Look at the beautiful stars. I want to drive a faster car.
The rear seat has a vast amount of space inside. It's unbelievable. It comes right in under the transom and you can pretty much get a suitcase in there. So there's loads of room to store all your safety gear, life jackets, spare clothes, towels, all that sort of stuff. Regarding the console, we went with the bench seat version. So you can have this just on its own. We decided to have the seat here because there are 4 of us. So everyone has a proper seat inside the boat, which we really like. No one has to sit on the chambers, and it's much safer when you're in rougher weather to have like a proper seat inside the boat.
And may I add, much more comfortable for the ladies out there who don't like being thrown around like a bucking bronco.
Yeah, this is true. So back to the console. The extra seat obviously is good for us. Also inside there's even more storage, and we really like having all of our bits and bobs put away. So when you go out, whether it's rough or not, everything has just got its place and it just feels tidier, Coming forwards to the bow seat, it's got a really nice cushion, nice backrest here, and inside you've got the area where you fill up with fuel, and it has a lot of storage space in the bow as well. It's really nice going for the built-in fuel tank, which is under all of this, right in the center, kind of in the keel area. The advantage with that is you get 40 litres of fuel capacity, and all that weight is down in the keel, which adds so much more stability to the boat. Because there's no bow tank, you have all that extra space for more stuff, which is super handy.
Something I really love from a more practical perspective is that when we do our provisioning trips, we can now store the provisioning goods in these lockers and they don't bounce around or get too hot in the direct sunlight, which is a little perk as a liveaboard mum. So whether I'm going to shore or being picked up from shore, something I find really handy is this massive bow step, which means that when I'm getting on or off the boat, it's much more stable and just way easier. Also, we have this cool little cleat here, which is easy to just tie a line onto. Oh, if you're like me, I like holding onto it. We have actually travelled in the dark a few times as well, and the navigation lights come in really handy if you're out at night time.
Right at the front of the boat, you've got a handle for like I am now, just to like hold on to. But there's also an eye for clipping on, for anchoring. Although actually, like Laura just said, this cleat comes in really handy. If it's a calm day, you can just tie off there and it's really nice and easy. Because we tend to tow this boat a lot, there is an additional feature that you can opt for, which are towing eyes. So down here, here and here. These are 2 strong points that you can attach your bridle to. And for towing, that's like super strong. So that's what we do when we're sailing or going somewhere quite far.
A question that we've been asked quite a lot actually is whether or not the ground slows us down, whether we're under motor or under sail. And actually the other day, Ross did have a chance to test that out. So Ross, does she slow us down?
Only a little bit. I'm talking about half a knot under motor. Actually, when we were sailing, we were doing 7 knots anyway. So I don't like to sail more than 7 knots on our boat, so I haven't really noticed the difference too much. Something I would add is we're going to talk about stability in a moment, but just while we're on this point, when we're towing, it's good to have a bit of weight in the bow when you're going along. So we've got 2 5-litre petrol cans. I have our anchor in there as well. So it's only about 20 kilos, but it really just makes the difference in keeping the bow down at tow. Which brings us on to the engine. Because this is all fiberglass and they've got a really strong transom area, Grand have actually upgraded some of the structure in here, and you can now get a 40 horsepower engine on a 3.3 meter boat, which is pretty awesome. So plenty of power to tow a water skier or a wakeboarder, and the structure inside is incredible. I've been in there and had a good old look around, and this pole goes down. It's like a T-piece which goes through all of these kind of bulkheads of the transom, so it's all kind of molded in, and all the power and thrust from the engine is transmitted through the fiberglass area. So it's such a well-built, thought-out boat. The engine, the guys at Grand advise us to get these hydro stabilizers, which I'm going to be honest, I wasn't too really keen on, but having used them, these are incredible. When they're in the water and you're going along on the plane, the boat is incredibly stable. I've had a go without them and there's quite a difference. So if you're going for a shorter model, I'd fully recommend the hydro stabilizers. The G340N, so the new one, is a deep V boat, so you need a long shaft, and because it's a deeper V, you get a much more comfortable ride. So that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, on our last boat, I used to get quite a bad back actually from all the jolting, but the deep V on this one makes a big difference, and I have to say, it's a far more comfortable ride.
The boat also has 4 really strong kind of lifting points here, on the other side, and just down here where the bow seat is. These are really good actually for mooring. We quite like using carabiners where we just click a rope here and tie to shore, but you've also got, again, cleats that pop up. I think that's a really nice touch, and you can tie off well to like the strongest part of the boat. So back to like night navigation, you can put your light, your pole here, which it does come with. That's stored in the back. It's over 1 meter long, and it just shows how big this area is. Regarding the engine, you have the usual power trim, electric start. It's quite nice on the Honda that you have these lights here for, you know, oil warning lights and all the battery and other ones. Over this side, you've got a bilge and your lights and a horn. This boat also has like a built-in drainage system. So any rainwater or salt water that comes into the boat, there's a bung just there which is above the water line. So even when it's just floating, water will drain out of the boat. If any water gets past that and into the bilges, you've got the bilge pump as well, which pumps any water out, you know, into the transom. I've not had this yet, apart from when I washed inside the lockers with a hose and, you know, give it a good old clean. That was quite good for cleaning purposes, just to drain that out. There's also 2 cup holders, one here, one down there. And would you believe they have a draining system attached to them? So if it's raining, the water drains out. It's like, that's all part of the drainage system. Everywhere you sit on the boat, you'll find there's a really strong handle somewhere. So you've got these nice handrails here. As you can see, I'm holding on to the handrail on the center console. And this is actually really nice to, when you're standing up, I don't know like how many of you have stood on a dinghy, but it can be a bit precarious. So having a handle here just to hold on to has been a really, really nice feature. You've got more handles here, or if you're sat in the bow seat, or if you're on the center seat, you've got the handrail and the handles the other side. The center console, as you can see, takes the wheel, the key start, the throttle lever, and we've got all of our gauges up here, but you can, if you want, put a 7-inch GPS plotter in there. We don't really need that for what we're doing, so we've gone with the gauges as we've set them out here. So far, we've had 40 miles an hour out of this bad boy, so yeah, the windshield does make a big difference.
So now on to why we got the Grand and kind of what a difference it's going to make for us as a Liveaboard family.
Well, just to put you in the picture, if you don't know us already, we have a Bavaria 42 monohull sailing boat. So we don't really have the facility to lift this up on a crane like you would a super yacht. We wanted a boat that's basically like a rib, but also compact enough to be able to tow and to just have next to the boat in ports or marinas where it's not like, you know, sticking out like a big sore thumb.
Yeah, I think it's all based on lifestyle really. Everybody's experience as a cruiser is very different. Some people like to cross massive oceans and are more comfortable with kind of just being on anchor and maybe having a smaller tender to get to shore and back. But we're all about having our mothership of Holly Blue somewhere beautiful and then being able to go on like wild adventures on a really fast little boat. And we're all really into water sports. So that was a big factor in deciding what kind of tender or rib would be specifically good for us. So yeah, it's really just dependent on the way that you live your life and everybody's unique. So if you're into speed and water sports and going to places that you just can't reach with a bigger vessel, then this is the kind of boat that's perfect for you. You know, we're in this for the long haul. We're not just on the boat for a couple of years. We're here to do this for life. So this boat has become our family car, as you might have on land, and it's provided us with extra freedom because not only do we have our big boat that we can take to different countries and different places, but we have a little boat that we can zip about on and have fun on. And definitely, if you need a bit of comfort when it comes to provisioning and just kind of getting about.
I was thinking this the other day, like if you had a big RV, for example, you've got kind of three options. You can have electric bikes that you throw in the back, or possibly you've got enough room to lift a motorized scooter or something. But if you want a car, then you're into towing it. And for us, that's kind of the way we've headed, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're happy to tow. We're in a sailing area that you can tow. It's not like we're crossing the Atlantic right now. But where we are in the Mediterranean, hopping from island to island, it's perfect. And
super easy.
the Ionian as well, like just so you know a bit about our sailing grounds, the Ionian is a real hotspot for rib boats anyway. So
yeah, it is, because we don't get a lot of big open ocean waves coming around this area, so you don't have to worry so much about that. We're able to just do so many more things, you know. We're getting a wake surfboard as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun. You'll have some laughs watching me try and get up on that thing. But yeah, again, the boys getting into their teenage years, they are more into adrenaline type sports now rather than just swimming.
And we've got coming up in our normal episodes in season 5 a whole heap of like exploring sea caves. There's so many like sea caves around here. Like Laura said earlier, we kind of get Holly Blue, our yacht, tied to shore somewhere in like a really secure base, and then we go roaming in this thing. And I mean, was it 2 days ago I did 50 nautical miles in this, and I did get caught out in a section of that in a force 5, and the boat handled it really, really well. So it's nice to know if you get caught out, it can handle it, but obviously you never go looking for rough weather.
No, we're not. We're fair weather sailors.
Yeah.
So guys, this concludes our review of the Grand G40N. We hope you've enjoyed it.
If you have any questions that we haven't already covered, feel free to reach out either in the comment section below or reach out to Grand direct, and they have an awesome team that can help you out with any of your requirements.
Okay guys, we'll see you in our usual sailing episodes coming up very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.